Weekly theme. Weekly theme for April 27th through May 1st. Money matters, real life, real habits, real growth.
Grab your cup of cocoa, coffee, tea, or whatever you are sipping and get cozy. Here we share and start the morning with a positive vibe. So let's reset, recharge, and reconnect right here on Cup of Cocoa and Chat. I'm Prince.
Today is Tuesday, April 28th. I recorded my podcast on yesterday. Unfortunately, the mic was muted, so audio was not captured. So I am doing this again. I do apologize, but it will be recorded and uploaded today, April 28th, Tuesday. Episode number 43, Money Matters. Let's talk about it without shame. So our focus for this episode is how money avoidance versus facing money pans out, what that looks like. Okay? Real life money habits, not perfection, and my journey, how I budget and how I use my content income to add to my existing income. Okay? Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you're tuning in, welcome to Cup of Cocoa and Chat. Whether you're driving, getting in your workout, running errands, or just relaxing with your favorite beverage, I am so glad you are here. I am Princess, your host, and this is the space where we sip, share, and have real conversations about life, growth, and everything in between. Today, we're talking about something we deal with every single day: money. Money. And we're not going to talk about it with shame. We're going to talk about it honestly. Okay? Segment one. Segment one. So let's go to segment one so we can get started. Am I? Okay. Segment one is why money feels heavy. Why money feels heavy. Okay? So let's dive right in. Why does money feel so heavy sometimes? Why does money feel so heavy sometimes? Okay? Excuse me. I mean, it's something we deal with every single day. Every single day. But for a lot of us, it's also something we avoid. Okay? Like, we will check everything else on our phone, our messages, our social media, our emails. But when it comes to that bank account, oh boy, we will say, I'll check that later, right? Because we are afraid sometimes. Sometimes we are afraid to just take a look because we know some things that came in. Maybe there was not enough money, Or maybe you're just hoping that that didn't hit that account just yet, right? Money isn't just numbers. It's tied to how we feel. It can bring up stress, fear, and even frustration. Sometimes it's that mindset of, I don't have it. And then after a while, that doesn't just become something you say, it becomes something you believe. You often hear, don't put it out in the universe. Don't put it out in the universe. Because what? It becomes true. So when you're constantly saying, I don't have it, it becomes something you start believing. And let's be honest, a lot of what we know about money, we didn't just learn on our own. Some of it came from what we saw growing up, what we heard about money, and what wasn't talked about when it came to money or finances, right? Things weren't often shared. Some of us were taught to stretch a dollar. Some of us were taught to survive, right? When you don't have it or when you don't have enough of the money. We were taught to survive. And some of us, we were never really taught at all. We just had to figure it out as we went along. Now, I said earlier, money isn't just numbers, it's emotions, habits, and sometimes even silence. Money has broken up a lot of relationships, whether it's romantic, friendship. As they say, money is the root of all evil. And we need to change that, right? So let me ask you something. Have you ever avoided checking your account? Have you avoided checking your account because you just didn't want to deal with it? Has that happened to you? Have you just did not want to check your account because you didn't want to deal with it, or you were afraid? Or you were afraid to see what came in, what didn't come in yet, how much money do I have? Were you just afraid, or you just didn't want to deal with it? Because that right there, that's where the shift has to happen. Because avoiding it might feel easier in the moment, but facing it, that's where the power is, right? And we always want to take our power back. We always want to keep that power. Okay? Which leads us into segment 2, the mindset shift. We want to change our mindset. We want to stop thinking about, I don't have it. We want to change that mindset. So let's stay right here for a second. Because if we're being honest, most of us were never taught how to face money. We were taught how to react to money. And reacting usually looks like this. Something comes up, you spend. Whether you have it or not, something comes up, you spend. Something feels tight, and you're trying to pay rob Peter, to pay Paul. You become stressed. You become stressed. And something feels uncomfortable, you avoid. you avoid. And we have to get away from that entirely. We got to change our mindset. But here's the shift I have learned: money doesn't change, it's the way we look at it that changes. And that's where we need to change how we look at our money, how we look at what's coming in and what's going out, how we look at that, how we manage it. See, it's not about having everything perfect, it's about having a perfect budget. A perfect, I'm sorry, it's not about having everything perfect. It's not about having a perfect budget or everything lined up just the right way. It's about awareness. And when you're aware, things become clearer. Just being honest with yourself and saying, okay, this is where I am, this is what I have, without the shame, without the guilt, just the truth. This is what I have, this is what I can do, right? Because money flows better when you face it and not avoid it. It all comes down to managing it, learning to manage your finances. And facing it doesn't mean you have to fix everything overnight. It can be something small. Start with something small, like actually checking your account and not rushing out of it, but checking it, right? You want to see everything that came out, because sometimes it could be errors. I'm just saying, sometimes it could be errors, right? Um, and if you're not careful, those monthly subscriptions that we subscribe to, they add up. $2 here, $3 there, $4 there, $5 there. At the end of the month, that becomes a very powerful amount if you don't get a grip on it, right? So just start small. Actually look at your account. Paying attention to where your money is going instead of just wondering where it went, right? So remember, we are changing our mindset. We're not going to be like, what in the world happened? We are going to know what happened because we are going to start looking at our money closely. Because once you see it, you can start to shift it, right? So once you start seeing what's coming in, what's going out, that mindset starts to shift because you're paying attention to all of those little things that are paid out of your account daily, okay? And that shift starts in your mind first. So it starts in your mind first. Before anything changes in your account, it has to change in how you think about it. So you have to start paying attention, being more visual. Okay? Now let's go into segment number 3, which is real life money. Real life money. Let me show you what that actually looks like in real life. Because mindset is one thing, but how you manage your money day to day, that's where the real change happens, right? So we've spoken about how we avoid and how we're going to stop avoiding, right? How we're going to face it, okay? We've talked about how we're going to shift our mind, right? So now we're going to learn to manage, because The first step is to hit it head on. Second step, change your mindset. Third step, we're going to manage it. Okay? Because that's where the real change happens. That's where your power is. Not in perfection, but in being present with your money. And I had to learn that in real life, not just in theory. Because once I started facing my money, I realized something. I needed a system, not anything complicated, just something that helped me see what was really going on. Because I used to avoid looking at my accounts. I knew what was coming in, but I wasn't paying attention to what was coming out. Right? So I had to change my mindset. Once I realized that I was avoiding it, I had to change my mindset. Okay? So what I started doing was very simple. I sat down, I looked at my money, not emotionally, but intentionally. And those of you that have been listening know that I have been living intentional with everything, even my money. So I started creating spreadsheets for things I deal with regularly. Nothing fancy, just something clear. Because I am a visual person. I'm a visual person and I'm a hands-on person. So I have to see it for it to make sense to me. I have to see it. I have to dive in and do it. Right? So that works for me. It may not work for you. I'm just giving you my opinion. Right? And things that I did. Now I have a couple examples, not all the examples, because I got spreadsheets all of, I got a lot of spreadsheets, I'm going to say. I'll just leave it at that. I got a lot of spreadsheets. But the one example that I want to share with you is my lawn service, right? So I no longer am paid weekly or bi-weekly, right? I'm paid monthly. In addition to my monthly income, I have my social media income. Okay? It's not a lot. I'm not one of those creators that are making thousands or in the millions of dollars. I'm not there yet. Okay? I'm building. I'm not there yet. But I get a little bit here and there from two different platforms, right? So, with that being said, with that money being like that social media income is not guaranteed. So I don't know when I'm going to get it, right? Because it's based on my views, and it's based on my content. So I'm not sure when I'm going to get that. I know I get the monthly income, and I know that's a guarantee. So I got to start looking at things differently because I can't pay them when I get paid weekly or bi-weekly because I'm no longer working. So I pay $65. I was paying $65 a week for lawn service, right? And that's not even the additional things that he does sometimes. But instead of just thinking about it week to week, I said, let me look at what this actually looks like monthly, right? Because it was becoming stressful to have that $65 every week, right? When I'm working with a monthly allotment. And when you put it in a spreadsheet, you start to see the full picture. So I could record the weeks, even the weeks that he didn't come. I could see that and I could say, he didn't cut this week, right? Because there were times when I didn't have it weekly, so he had to come by weekly. Now I have him come in weekly, but I pay him monthly. But I had to sit down and put that on paper and see how that looks, right? And when I put it in a spreadsheet, I started to see the full picture. And it's not about stopping it because I didn't want to stop the service. It was about understanding it more. So it worked for me. Now, my second example is tracking income. I have rental income, and I needed to start tracking that because I don't give out a receipt or anything like that. Sometimes I'm paid in cash, sometimes I'm paid via Cash App. So I had to figure out a way for me to track that. So that was that was another spreadsheet I had to create. And now I can track the money that's coming in, the additional money that's coming in, like that rental income. Because it's one thing to receive money, but it's another thing to actually manage it with intention. Okay? And what this did for me was it gave me clarity, not confusion, not trying to figure out, wait a minute, did I get money this month? And then that my tenant is paying me sometimes when he gets paid. So that's twice a month. So I had to figure it out since I wasn't doing receipts. I was getting cash, sometimes cash apps. So I had to figure it out. So it's no longer confusion, it's no longer stress, it's just clarity for me. Because once you have clarity, you can see what's going on, you can see what's coming in and what needs your attention. Right? Because you can't manage what you don't monitor. You cannot manage what you don't monitor. Now, let me say this. You don't have to be a spreadsheet expert. You don't have to be a spreadsheet expert. You don't need anything complicated. You just need something that helps you see your money clearly. Even if it's writing it down, right? Start tracking one bill or looking at one category at a time. Now, some of us don't have to do that, and that's fine. That's fine. I applaud you. Kudos. Keep doing you. But others, it's something that they may want to look at. Now, I will be remiss if I didn't tell you how you need to add to your income, because it's important to have multiple streams of income. So you may be getting paid weekly or bi-weekly or monthly. However you paid, it's important and it's a great asset to have multiple streams of income. Because once you start looking at your finances, you begin to look at money differently. Not just what you spend, but what you can build. Which brings us into segment 4, practical money moves. Simple steps that you can start immediately if you like, right? So now that you see how I handle my money in real life, let's bring it back to you, because you don't have to do everything at once. You just need a place to start. A simple plan will get you started. Now I want to share a few moves with you. Move 1, look at your money, right? That's your first move. Because awareness first. We're going to always put awareness first. We're going to start with just looking at your money, not quickly, not rushing, but really take a moment and see what's there, right? You know what's coming in. If you're working, you know how often you're paid, right? You want to start looking at what's going out. Out. Okay? So that's move one. Look at your money. Move two. Track one thing. Keep it small. These are things that you can implement starting now, but start small so it won't be overwhelming, right? Don't try to track everything. Just pick one thing right now. Maybe it's one bill. Maybe it's eating out if you're one of those people that have a habit that you want to eat out all the time, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Start tracking it. One of the things that is valuable to you is once you start tracking that, you see how much money you spend, right? Which starts your your mindset. You know, you see, oh my God, I spend $300-$400 a month just eating out. How can I put some of that money back into my account? So your mind starts to shift. Okay? Move number 3, create one simple system. Now, these moves are just suggestions that you can implement, right? Just suggestions. You don't have to use any of them. If what you are doing works for you and it's fine, carry on. I applaud you. Great. But if you want to get clarity, you want to start managing your money better, then these are some suggestions. Do your own research. Always do your own research. But these are some suggestions. Okay? So, number 3, as I said, create one simple system. Now, make sure that that system works for you, which means that may look like you trying a few different ones before you settle on one that works for you. But make sure it works for you. Okay? It could be a notebook. It could be notes in your phone or a basic spreadsheet like I use. Just remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to help you see clearly. Move number 4. This is the last move that I'm going to talk about. Pause before you spend. Pause before you spend. We go into these stores. We see things that we love, that we like, without thinking about the consequences if you spend that amount on whatever that is. Do you need it? Does it add value to your life? Do you already have one? Because a lot of us go out and we buy things and we already have the same thing in our closet that we have never worn. A lot of us have clothes in our closets that still have tags on them. We have shoes, purses that we've never even used. We have suits, we have ties that we've never used. So pause before you spend. That's a big one. Just ask yourself, do I need this right now? Does this add value to my life? That one question alone can shift your habits. And we've been talking about good habits and bad habits. Good habits and bad habits. So that question alone can shift your habits. You don't need a perfect budget. You need awareness. You need intention and small discipline. And we've talked about motivation versus discipline. We know the difference between motivation and discipline. You need awareness, intention, and small discipline. Because small money habits create big financial peace later. Okay? And once you start looking at your money differently, you also start thinking about how to bring more in. And this is where I'm going to dive into the extra money I make and how you can do it too, because it's so simple. Okay? You also start thinking about how to bring money in. You don't just look at what's going out anymore. You start asking yourself, how can I bring more in? Now, a lot of people will say, get a side hustle. That's great for some. Get a part-time job. Okay. Start a business. That's all sounds great. And yes, all of those things can bring in extra money. But let's be real for a moment. Everybody doesn't have the time for that. Everybody doesn't have the capital for starting a business, right? Everybody doesn't have that time to go out and get that second job. You're already old. You already have a lot on your plate with your families, your 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, however long you work in one day, right? So we don't have time for that, right? Because you might have children. You might already be working a full-time job. And by the time your day is done, you are tired, exhausted even. So the question becomes, what can I do with the time and resources I already have? And that's where I come in. Because I'm here to tell you that you already have the resources. Think about it. You already have the resources, but what can you do with those? Here's what I realized. Most of us already have something in our hands every single day. Our phones. Think about it. A lot of us are already on social media. We are scrolling on social media. We are watching other people's content that the other people are paid for. And we already engaging in their content that they are being paid for. Now, this isn't for everybody. This isn't for everybody. This is just a suggestion for those that are already posting, those that are thinking about posting, and those that want to start posting. Okay? If you can go out and get a part-time job, perfect. If you already have a part-time job, perfect, because you're already one step ahead. If you already started that business, perfect. You got that side hustle and you grinding to the best that you can, perfect. I'm just talking about those of us who don't have the time and already have already have the resources. So why not use that as an opportunity? Okay? Now there's 3 types of creators. And I just want to speak to those for a second. There's 3 different kinds of creators. Okay? You don't always need more time. Sometimes you just need to use what you already have differently. Because for a lot of us, we're not just managing money, We're also sitting on opportunities that we haven't fully tapped into yet. Okay? Some of you are already creating, some of you have been thinking about it, and some of you don't even realize you already have something you can build from. Because managing your money is step one, but increasing your income, that's where things really start to change for you. All right? And when I say creators, I'm talking about all levels. So the three that I talked about, the ones who've been thinking about starting, the ones that the ones who already started but feel a little lost, don't know where to go with it, and the ones who don't even know where to begin. It's three different types of creators. Now, for the ones that are on the fence, if you've been sitting there thinking, I don't know what to post or I'm not ready yet, let me tell you something. You don't need to have it all figured out to start. Your consistency will teach you what your confidence hasn't caught up to yet. That makes sense. Okay? So these are the ones on the fence. We're going to break the fear because we want the income, right? The second type of creator, those already creating. I'm going to meet you where you are. If you've already been posting and you're not seeing growth yet or income yet, that doesn't mean it's not working. It means you're still building, because content isn't just something you post, it's something you build over time. Some people can go viral the first time they post. Some people go viral years after. It depends. It depends on the content that you are posting. That's why it's very important to find your niche, find your community, and be consistent. Okay? Now, the beginners. The beginners. If you truly don't know where to start with this. Pick one platform. One platform. Pick one topic you care about. That's the niche that we all talk about, right? And just start sharing consistently. Now, it may take you a little while to get your niche. It could be anything. It could be anything. It could be beauty. It could be wellness. It could be health. It could be products. It could be dance videos. Whatever it is, choose it, stay with it, build on it, and be consistent. No pressure to be perfect. Just be present. Okay? Now, let me share a little bit about my journey with you. I am currently on my journey to 1,000 followers on Facebook. As of Sunday, I had 189 followers. And it's all been about consistency. Okay? I am already earning through Facebook stars. So I get paid on Facebook right now only through the Facebook stars. If you're not familiar, stars are when your audience supports your content and Facebook pays you for that engagement. So when people throw stars at my content, they give me stars, I get paid from the stars. Okay? Now, that's one stream of income that Facebook offers. They also have subscriptions, which I think Facebook right now has the cheapest subscriptions at 99 cents a month. Okay? Facebook also offers income through partnership ads, which is the same thing as collaboration with brands, working with brands. If you are a content creator that likes to post content about products that you use, products that you love, find those SEO words, find the SEO words that resonates with the brands and build on that and start getting partnership ads through Facebook, and you can get paid through partnership ads. They also have content monetization, right? That's one of their invite only income programs, and right now I'm on the waiting list for that, which is good. Pray for me, pray for me. I thank you. The other one that is invite only is storefront. So the last two I mentioned are invite only, but you have the stars and subscription and partnership ads. Once you build your platform, a lot of you already have over 1,000 followers, and you can start building on that and start getting some type of income. It's not always guaranteed because it's based on your content and what you post. So this didn't happen for me overnight, but it's happening because I stayed consistent. I showed up on all my platforms, and consistency is key. Okay? Your content can go from expression to income. You just have to be consistent. Okay? The other thing on Facebook, I created a Facebook group. I drop tips, gems, support. We support each other. And it's called Grow and Monetize Together too on Facebook. Grow and Monetize too. Because you don't have to figure this out alone. So I want to share something else with you as well. I didn't just keep my content in one place. Okay? I actually post everything that whatever I post, whatever you see me posting on Facebook, I've also posted it on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Okay? Because sometimes people think you need something complicated, and you really don't. On my YouTube, I've been sharing Black history and American history, real life moments like the interactions with my grandson when I pick him up from school or from work, and or just everyday life content. And the key for me has been this. What I post on Facebook, as I said, I post all on all my platforms. I'm not starting over every time. I'm building from what I've already created. And I stay consistent, and I make sure I'm keeping up with the rules, engagement, and policies on each platform because each one is different. Although Instagram and Facebook are both owned by Meta, they have different rules of engagement, different policies. So you have to keep up on all the rules of engagement and policy. Because growing isn't just about posting, it's about understanding how the platform works too. So inside my group on Facebook, I share tips, what I'm learning, and what's working for me so we can grow together. And I'm not just posting content, I'm building a system that works for me and others. So if you've been on the fence, this is your sign to start. You need that extra money, this is your sign to start. And if you already started, this is your reminder to stay consistent And if you don't know where to begin, just take one step. Because what you build today can become something that pays you tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. What you build today can become something that pays you tomorrow. Because we want to manage our money. And once we start to manage our money and get a grip on it, we want to bring more income in. And that involves multiple strands of income. Okay? So I want you to sip on this. Money isn't just about what you make, it's about how you manage, move, and multiply what you have. Okay? No shame, just growth. No pressure, just progress. Be faithful over what you have and watch how things begin to grow. But we're going to stop avoiding. We're going to change our mindset. We're going to implement moves, and we're going to manage our money first. And then we're going to introduce additional income into that fold. Okay? So, all right, my Cocoa family, as we close out today's conversation, I want you to sit with this. If no one told you today, I am proud of you. Keep going. And as always, peace and blessings. I love you, and I mean it.